everybody. Thanks so much for joining us right here on The Right View. Tonight, I'm so excited. We are joined by two really popular musical artists. They have a new album coming out, The Brave. It'll be available on Friday. Adam Calhoun and Tom McDonald. Tom and Adam, thanks for joining us. Adam, we've had you on the show before. Tom, welcome over. We're so excited to get you on. You've been icing me for a while. You're following my brother-in-law on Instagram. I'm not going to take it personally. I promise I'm not. I'm just kidding. Welcome to the show. I got to know, though, you guys obviously have been very popular by yourselves for a while. How did you meet, and why did you guys decide to collab on an album? It's a whole album together. Tom, I'll go to you.
So I think we knew of each other for like a long time. And we had both been sort of like bombarded by people with like, hey, everybody always wants to give their suggestion of who you should work with. So like a lot of people were constantly hitting me up saying like, hey, work with Adam. And I think people were doing the same thing to Adam. But we had never crossed paths. We didn't have any mutual acquaintances, really. We just like sort of were in our own worlds. And then Adam did an interview. Here you go, bud. So Adam did an interview where he was asked about me, and he had some like less than flattering things to say about me. So, and like usually like this type of stuff is very commonplace. Like a lot of people have less than flattering things to say, but for some reason I just was like touched by it, and I was like, yo, like I'm gonna get this guy's phone number. So I started like reaching out to people. Yo, you got Adam Calhoun's phone number? You got Adam's number? You got Adam's number? Nobody would up it, which speaks to how solid Adam's circle is.
Yeah.
And then I messaged Adam directly, and I was like, what's your number? And then he gave it to me, and we got on the phone. And
I was in the studio recording, actually, and I was like, what is it? Like, wow, what? Oh, God. Like, you know? Like,
so,
yeah, I love it.
we got on the phone and yelled at each other for like half an hour. And then it was just like weird. I think that like we both had a bunch of like sort of, you know, you see these people on the internet and you have sort of like this idea in your head of like who that person is and what they're about and stuff. So I think we had both had these images of one another built up. So we yelled at each other for 30 minutes, and kind of those, you know, preconceived notions sort of like disintegrated, and we started talking to each other as regular people for like the first time. And like it was bizarre. We got on the phone like literally as like sworn enemies, and got off the phone like as family. It was a really bizarre thing.
I was like, I just don't like your music and what you're doing. He's like, well, I don't exactly like your shit either.
Oh my God, so great. By the way, as a Trump, believe me, I understand about preconceived notions and what people on the internet might think of you. Believe me, that is not a foreign thing to me. So then how did you guys decide? Like, it's one thing to just do a song together. I mean, a lot of artists have done that, but you guys did a whole album together. I mean, that's a completely different thing. Adam, you know, like, why didn't you guys just start with a song and like say, let's see how this goes?
That was a long process too. I mean, me and Tom talked on the phone for like just bullshitting with each other. Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah, you can say it's all good. Yeah.
Fuck yeah. So like me and Tom were we talked for like 6 months. Sorry, my voice has gone screaming. My son's fight. But we talked on the phone for like 6 months, and we never really talked about like us doing music together or anything like that. And it got brought up. Exactly how that went down, but it did get brought up way down the line. And we kicked it around a while, and I never thought it was going to happen because he was real busy doing his thing, and I was busy doing mine. And then he's like, hey, let's do this. And I was like, I don't, you know. And he's like, well, listen to these beats, man. And I listened to the beats because Tom produces his own beats, and I don't think a lot of people know that. But I was like, yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Yeah, maybe let's do a song. He's like, no, how about let's do a whole album? Like, let's, you know. And I wanted to do an album, but I just never thought we were going to get to that point. And it was kind of like Tom was like, okay, we're at that point. Let's go. And I was like, wait, what do I get a say in there? Like, what are we doing there? And with Tom, you don't get a say. He's pretty much like, let's go. And he's a very hard worker. So it was a really cool experience.
but you guys don't even live near each other, right? So Tom, what is that like to do an album with somebody when you guys are in completely different parts of the country?
I mean, it's definitely like complicates stuff a little bit as far as like the creative process musically, and then also with visuals and the videos and stuff. But it's just kind of like, I like to do, I don't think I've ever done anything in my life that was easy. And this seemed like it would be a difficult thing, that it would be an interesting thing, that it would be a challenge. So, you know, we just went for it. And what that turned into was like Adam in the studio every single day and me in my studio on FaceTime. And we're like, I'm sending him beats and he's saying, okay, I like 1, 2, and 6. But can we change this? Can we do that? And I'm tweaking stuff on FaceTime, sending it back. We're spitballing ideas for song concepts where, you know, we wrote a song where we went back and forth, like 2 lines, 2 lines, 4 lines, 4 lines. We wrote the whole thing together on FaceTime.
Wow. Over like voice memos and shit. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
So,
wow.
So honestly, it was like, I'd never done anything like it before. And I think any time that you do something for the first time, it feels special, and there's something sort of like inspiring about it. So, you know, it would have been great to be together and do the album that way, but we weren't. And I think that process actually added to the quality of the project to me. So we did all the music separately. Nova directed videos over FaceTime, and we did all the videos separately. And, you know, the next one, if we do a next one at some point in time, we'll do that in person. But but it was a really cool experience, and like it was difficult, and I liked it because it was difficult. So.
Well, I mean, nothing worth doing is easy, right? I mean, you have to, in order to chart new territory, you've got to be willing to put in the work and put in the time. And by the way, people have been so excited about this album. I feel like people have been talking about this for a while. You guys both on your social media, I know I've been seeing for a long time, a lot of hype about this and a lot of lead up to it. So I'll ask you each. Adam, I'll ask you first. What is your favorite song off the new album, and why is it Soldier? I'm just kidding. Just one of my favorites.
Nice. Hey, she knows she did her. Okay. Bad Guy is my favorite song, and I think, but not my favorite verses. I always ask Tom because I keep forgetting. My favorite verses off this. What was that other one? That kind of slower hip hop beat.
Never Gonna Come Down.
Yeah, I really like that. But I think my favorite song is Bad Guy off the album.
Love it. Tom, what about you?
Super difficult because like there's so many like different aspects to that. We did like the tough guy songs. We did we did a couple political joints. We did some stuff that was like referenced sort of mine and Adam's like mental health issues. It's so content is such a just like a plethora.
It's like asking who's your favorite child. I know it's not a fair one. Obviously, we know Adam.
Okay, if I had to pick, I would probably say either Bad Guys, which Adam already cited, or and I know the whole world's already heard it already, but like White Boys is a big joint for me because it just makes me feel like kicking somebody's door down. And
that's a good.
I hear it.
This is actually the back of the album.
Okay, good. Thank you. Let me look at that.
Oh, nice. There we go.
Can you see it, Tom?
Oh, bro. Free World, like In God We Trust. I feel good. Like, look. Fine.
Oh, yeah.
I'll go with Bad Guy or White Boys. That's it.
I love it. Well, you just said, I mean, obviously the album has a lot of different types of songs about different things, but some of the songs are political, and people I feel like are always trying to label you guys, right? Claiming that you're this or that. I'll just ask you, how would you label yourselves, or would you even label yourselves? Because we know that is what happens out there. This mainstream media, Hollywood, they love to slap a label on people. So Tom, how would you label yourself?
I mean, my whole thing is just that, like, I would never subscribe to any like one particular set of, political ideologies or ideals or whatever. I think that, like, right now, I think the right pretty much predominantly has a pretty good stranglehold on what I feel are like the most, they have the most accurate picture of how I think that the world is going down. That being said, I think that the left also has a lot of good ideas too. I think the problem is, which is to me done on purpose, is that like the small minorities on both sides of the spectrum are given the loudest voices, and it's those voices that create the headlines that fuel the divide, that da 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 da. So for me, it's just like I would never personally like wear the name tag or pledge allegiance to anyone. I'm just looking at the very limited and either accurate or inaccurate information that I'm given through the same sources that you guys get your information. I'm just looking at everything and trying to make up my own mind. And if some of those, my conclusions fall on the right, so be it. And if some of my conclusions fall on the left, then that's fine too.
But isn't that, but that's what America's all about. Like, we should all be able to be given the information and then draw our own conclusions about things. Unfortunately, it feels like that is almost a thing of the past. People are just kind of spoon-fed what it is that the folks in power want you to know and to understand. And if you stray outside of that, then, I mean, there are serious consequences, it feels like, for anybody that decides to think for themselves. And I think it's rather scary that this is the United States of America. We should be able to just get the information and decide for ourselves. But man, it's scary out there. Adam, I'll ask you the same question. How do you label yourself?
Well, I mean, I love my country. I am proud to be an American. At the same time, I'm very disappointed in our government. I think they've failed the American people. I think we have a lot of the wrong people in the wrong positions of power. And I think our country, the way it's just sad. I mean, it's just, we look really weak a lot to me. As far as how I'm labeled, somebody, I was doing an interview and they were like, Adam Calhoun, conservative rapper. And I'm like, I want to smack you in the face for that. Like, I'm a rapper. I'm a human. Right. I also could write country songs. I could sing and stuff like that. But yeah, we're rappers. We hit the charts, and we don't just hit the charts. We hit number ones on the charts for rap. We're rappers. And yes, some of my views are conservative. I definitely, I am a person that likes to think, and a lot of my views fall on the right. That's how it is, And that's it.
That's
yeah,
okay.
Like it's now. If I think something. If you disagree with me or you're on the left and you're saying what you feel in your opinion, I feel like we should be able to have a conversation, an open dialogue, and disagree with each other and be like, okay, cool. Do you want to go get something to eat? You know what I mean?
It used to be that way. And I don't even, I mean, what happened? Who knows what happened?
Yeah, no, I'm definitely a proud American. I'm very prideful. I love my country. I love being an American. And I'm not, and most of my views lean towards the right side.
Amen. Me too. Tom, you're originally Canadian, right?
Yeah.
No.
So, I mean, honestly, your music, and I have to be honest with you guys, I listen to both of your music like it's on playlists I have in my car. My kids are listening to it. Adam, I told you this when I interviewed you. I'm not even kidding. I really love your music, and
thank you.
It makes you think, and it makes you kind of reflect on things and say, what I think a lot of people love about it is that it makes people out there who felt like, am I crazy for feeling this way? Say, oh my gosh, these guys are saying what it is I've been feeling and I've been thinking, but nobody has the guts to like get out there and actually say it or put it into music in any form. But being somebody from Canada, I mean, you seem very much like you love America, like you love this country and you get it here. Like you understand the system, you understand the game, you understand all of it. I find that really interesting.
I think first of all, like, I think just like Adam, I think that America was, without question, is the greatest country in the world, period. It just is. It's not up for debate. There's no discussion. It just is that way, whether you like it or not. That's the fact of the matter. And I mean, I traveled all around the world many times. I went on tour through Europe with music and did a bunch of stuff. And I love Canada. Never felt at home in Canada.
Interesting.
And I guess I just never felt at home anywhere. I traveled through Europe and I thought for sure, like, I'll get to London or I'll get to Paris or I'll get to Athens or you know, I'll get somewhere, Amsterdam, whatever. And I'll feel like, oh my God, for the first time, I feel like I'm at home and I'll move there. And it didn't happen. And then, you know, like about a year after my second tour through Europe, I took a trip to the States. And for the first time, I felt at home here. And I felt embraced by people, and I just fell in love with the United States. And I mean, I came here 7 years ago with $800 in my pocket, and I was about to get on a plane. I was broke. I was coming off a mental breakdown. I was coming off of a pretty acute stint with alcoholism, and I was about to get on this plane. And my dad shook my hand, and he said, he bought me the ticket to fly here, and he gave me $600, which I added to my own $200. And he shook my hand and said, "Hey, kid, you got one job when you go to America: live up to your potential." And
Wow.
you know, that was like 6-7 years ago. And like looking back on that, to me, it's like this country, and maybe more specifically the people in this country. You know, I came here with $800 and a dream, and those people helped me like realize that dream. And I think a lot of people have this vision of what the American dream is, and maybe it's like a disheveled family like arriving on the shores of America in a little wooden boat or something.
That's not how you got here.
but you know, I think that like I'm sort of a modern picture of like what the American dream is. I feel like
Totally.
I came here and realized a lot of things about my own life in this country, and I think that I maybe have a unique perspective on things, because it's cliche, but sometimes like you can't see the forest through the trees. And I got to observe America from afar for many, many, many years. And then to come here and be thrust into the middle of it in what I would wager is probably one of the most chaotic times in American recent modern history. You know, I got to soak up a lot of stuff and witness the American spirit in real time, and sort of get immersed in American culture and politics and stuff. And maybe, you know, that me coming from the outside and moving in sort of contributes to my perspective on everything.
I just heard the Canadian accent break through there just for a moment, Tom. Just for a moment.
Sorry.
Sorry.
But honestly, you're right. I mean, gosh, you are what the American dream is all about. The fact that you came here and anyone can do it, anyone can start wherever it is that they start in America. But if you're willing to put in the work and the effort and you know, put your head down and get through, like, you could do anything you want in America. It is the American dream. So I love to hear it. I want to ask both of you guys, obviously, Tom, since you're from Canada, what do you think about the Canadian truckers? Because I got to tell you, I think they're part of the reason that all these mask mandates are gone all across America. At least they're just dropping like flies. That, and obviously the State of the Union.
Midterm. Yeah, midterm.
And the midterms
too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it's really wild, because I think everybody has this sort of view of Canada as like the passive, like friendly, like
maple syrup.
Maple
yeah,
syrup.
that's what we all
You know
think is going
you know
on
what I
up
mean?
there.
Like, and I'd never been. I mean, I spent like 25 years in Canada, and never did I ever see anything like that convoy.
Yes.
And you know, it's kind of like what's going on with Ukraine and Russia right now, or anything else that's presented to us through the lens of mainstream media. It's like, it's really difficult to tell like what is actually going on over there. Are there people getting arrested? Are the cops being cool with it? Like, it's very difficult to decipher the code that, you know, that is being presented to us. But when I watch it, regardless of any of that, it's just like I saw for the first time a bunch of badass Canadians stand up and say, you know what? I've had enough of this. And whether they were right or they were wrong or somewhere in between, it doesn't really matter. It was like a bunch of people for the first time that I'd ever seen in Canada be like, you know what? We need to stand up. We need to take action, and we need to go do something. And I have never seen anything like that in Canada my entire life. So just for that reason alone, me and Adam posted about it. I had a very strict schedule of hey, this is what we need to be doing for the album. This is what we need to be doing for the album. And then I called Adam and I said, hey, have you seen what's going on with these truckers? And he's like, yeah, it's badass. And I said, look, man, I'm from Canada and I know that we have plans to post this and do that and da-da-da-da-da. But it feels like to me, this is a very important piece of Canadian history. And
Absolutely.
I would really appreciate if you would stand with me and make this post. And Adam was like, no question. What do you want to do? Let's do it right now.
I love it. But I mean, honestly, doesn't it speak to the fact that obviously we do all view, I feel like in America, Canadians is that nice group of people, everything's calm, no problem, whatever you want. But people, Adam, can only get pushed so far, right? And then at a certain point, you're like, enough is enough. We're tired of this. It's all just crazy. And I feel like that's what the truckers represented. And it wasn't just about the vaccine mandates. It wasn't just about the masks. It was about the fact that for the past 2 years, it has felt like someone else has had control of all of our lives. And it wasn't just about Canadians. It was about Americans and Australians and French,
the whole world.
Literally anybody, right? That's what it was. And I love it.
I feel like a lot of people forget, and it's very easy to forget, that we are actually the ones that run this country.
Amen. Yep. People are in charge.
Yeah, but so many people get, here, you got to wear this mask. And they're just like, all right, I don't want to cause any problems. Just put the mask on. When really it's like, well, wait a minute. If everyone says, nah, then how are they going to enforce that? We the people run this country, and everyone else in their own countries, that the people have the power, because there's more people, there's more of us than there are politicians.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So if everyone would stand up and just say, no, that's it.
When do we think that we're going to not have to wear masks on airplanes? Is that ever going to happen?
I think it will.
You got to buy your own airplane, I think.
I guess, yeah. We have to, that's the only way. I swear. I feel like it's never going to happen. Although I just traveled last weekend with my kids. And I got to tell you, they're 2 and 4. So now they both are supposed to wear masks on planes. No one cared that my kids did not have masks on. No one said anything. I think everybody knows, it's enough. We're done with all of this. It's, too much. But Adam, last time we had you on, you were expecting a new baby. I got to ask about how everything's going. Not only has your daughter been born since we talked, but your son just won his first professional Muay Thai fight, and that's why your voice is gone. What's happening with the fam? Me and Margie, we had a little baby girl. Her name's Gray. And I knew I was having a boy. I was like, there's no way. God's not. That's how it always works. Yeah, and I already have Taman, who's almost 22. And when I found out it was a girl, I was like, oh man, I don't know how this is going to be. I cried, actually. And no. Yeah. Aww. There's a picture of it. And my son's making fun of me. All my friends are making fun of me. But but you know what? It's the best thing ever. She is the love of my life. She's teaching me how to be more peaceful, more loving, more patient, and just, I'm like a big dumb caveman, holding her, looking at her, and she's just the most beautiful thing in the world. She's already got you like this. I can already say. If I ever have another little baby, I hope it's a girl, because the girls are going to take care of me when I'm walking around the house and I don't know where my pants are. They're going to be the ones taking care of me. It's true. It's true. And then Taman, he did his time in the military. He had a 3.5-year contract. He did it, came home. He works for me, and he trains, and he trained for this fight, and he showed a lot of heart, and heart that I didn't know that he had. I'm always kind of questioning, I'm waiting to see a little bit of me in him, and man,
he was willing to give it to die in that ring. And I know that's kind of harsh to say, especially nowadays, but he's a fighter, and he left it all out there, and it was awesome. It was one of the proudest moments I think I ever had with my son.
It's so crazy when you have kids and you're like, I created that, and then they do stuff, and you're like,
yeah,
this is wild. Like, it's
like
insane.
It won't be long before I might not be able to, smack him in the back of the head anymore.
He's gonna retaliate. Tom, you mentioned your girlfriend Nova a few minutes ago. She herself is a rapper. She's featured on the album on a few songs. But she also directs all of your music videos, which, by the way, are so cool. So kudos to her, both of you. Obviously, Thanks. Really, really cool. But I heard you guys might not be on the complete same page politically. Apparently, that is not supposed to happen.
Wait,
how do you make this work?
Where does she hear these things at?
Yeah, holy shit! You got my house bugged. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, I do. I put some. I just put a few cameras. It's fine. Don't worry.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we're like we It's cool because, like, it's fun to talk about that stuff, and like it's funny because I'll do like a like New World Order that me and Adam did, and I had a pro-choice abortion bar at the very end of my verse. That when Nova hears that, she's like, "Oh my God, dude! Like, for real? Like, are you gonna say that?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna say that." And she's like, like, okay, like, I'm here for it. Like, regardless of what I'm expressing in my music, like, she still, at the end of the day, like, relatives aren't going to break us up. Money is not going to break us up, and politics damn sure is not going to break us up. So it's like, it's pretty cool for her to be like, I don't agree with everything that you're saying in the song, but I'm gonna stand with you, and I'm gonna stand behind you and shoot this video.
And produce your video, doing your video like that. But that's how I feel like it used to be. You could have differences of opinions, and you guys are like a picture of the old days in a way, because you used to be able to have friends and people could be together that had different political views. These days, it's really hard. So I give you guys a lot of credit, because I got to tell you, I have a few friends who did not vote for my father-in-law and definitely hold different political views than I do. And you know what? It has been very challenging at times for me to stay friends with them. Now I have, and I'm committed to that, and I respect them for their view on things. Sometimes I question it a lot. That's okay. But it's not easy. So good for you guys, because I mean, God, these days, especially. Adam said he doesn't watch the news. Do you watch the news, Tom?
I mean, not like on TV, but I stay tuned to, like, I mean, I feel like it's impossible not to stay tuned.
I know. You can't escape it.
Social media feeds and everything else. And like, I think also like the algorithms have like identified like the type of music I make and the people that follow my page, what they interact with.
I know, they just like target you now.
Yeah. So it's a constant onslaught of just like whatever the hottest news issue is right now. So it's pretty hard to escape. And like, I mean, it's cool because me and Nova, like, I'll read something and I'll be like, yo, this is the most badass thing I've read in regards to Ukraine or in regards to Biden or in regards to mass or this or that. And I'll read it to her. And she's like, oh, that's such bullshit. It lacks all this context and da-da-da-da-da. And she has this big thing. And, like, we'll argue about it for like 15 minutes. And then it's like about a friendly argument. And then it's like, yo, did you Photoshop that album artwork for that thing? Because it's coming out on Friday.
Don't hit me. Yeah, I can't watch. The news isn't allowed to be on in my house. Like, it's like, 14 killed, and it's the Met. You got to get it every single
You're
thing.
You're probably like, better off, Adam.
So I'm in touch to everything that's going on around me in the world, in this country. But it's just like when I hear the news on and the anchor speaking, it's just like every single clip. I'm just like, turn it off. I don't turn it off. I can't.
Yeah.
But you guys are very well informed. You're obviously
for sure.
You're staying in touch with what's going on out there, and You know what? It seems like it's working out for you. You both seem like you have a handle on things very well. I enjoy both of your music and your commentary on things. So good for you. Tom, I asked Adam this when he came on my show the first time. I ask every guest this question. What do you think is the best part of America, and what do you think is the biggest threat to the future of our country?
Best thing about America is Adam Calhoun. Oh, I'm sorry, Tom.
It's okay. Go ahead, Adam. Go ahead. I'll
Adam
go
Calhoun probably the best part of America.
Yeah, the worst part about this country is that there's assholes like Adam Calhoun that cut you off when you're supposed to be answering your own fucking question. But
yeah, no, I got you, man.
I don't know. Like, I know it's kind of abstract, but it is what it is. Like, my whole life I'd heard about, like, from my dad, and like, I've always been fascinated with America since I was a kid. And you guys did a damn good job of getting your flag on t-shirts and ball caps and pop culture and everywhere. Like, it's always just been something that I knew and saw and was interested in. And, you know, you always hear about like the American spirit and like what that is. And it's sort of this untangible X factor that exists like within Americans. And you know, my dad used to tell me about it, and to be here and witness that in person and have such strong examples of that, like Adam, and other people that I know that are just like, yo, man, like, I love this country. I stand for this country. I'm vocal about it. I'm not afraid. There's people who support me. Like, it's just that sort of abstract fire that burns in people out here. It's like, that's what I didn't witness in Canada until the trucker convoy.
Yeah.
That was the first time I saw the spirit of the people shine through the people. And I've witnessed that in real time here, like for 6-7 years. Like, I sit on my roof when it's the 4th of July and I watch the fireworks and I close my eyes and thank the person who's looking down on me for putting me here in this place and allowing me to be a part of America. So that's you know, I know it's sort of abstract and wishy-washy, artsy-fartsy, but I never witnessed anything like that outside America's borders. I just haven't.
Well, and you're right. Neither have I. I think you're spot on with that. You're never going to find, nor have I seen anything like the American spirit and the general just feeling you get here in this country. Really cool, unprecedented. I haven't seen it anywhere else either. What do you think is the biggest threat to the future of our country?
Performative wokeness.
Oh God, right?
I think that, like, if we don't get a grip on things, you know, soon, people think that like our biggest threat is these foreign conflicts and threats.
Climate change, apparently, and white men, according to some folks in the government. But I digress.
Yeah.
So
yeah, well, climate change is a big one. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I think that like the biggest threat to us is and freedom and everything else is this sort of like performative wokeness, canceling of we're going to be left with. I said this like 5 years ago in conversation with my dad, and it sounded so poetic that it always just stuck with me. But if this stuff like continues to happen, we are literally going to be left with tall gray buildings and quiet car rides. Artists will be extinct, art will be extinct, self-expression will be extinct. Like, it's getting to the point now where it's like, you know, freedom of speech seems like it's continually infringed upon. Mm-hmm. But like, we're going to get to a point where it's like freedom of thought, and like, you're not going to you're not going to be allowed to think differently than what's popular. And to me, every solution that's ever come from anything has come from thinking about an idea, talking about the idea, having the discussion, having the conversations, and all of these things are literally just disintegrating before our eyes right now.
Yeah.
So that's what I think.
I mean, I think you're right. And like, think about the fact that the comedians of like 15 years ago, I think about Dave Chappelle. I used to watch his show all the time. You couldn't have that show on TV right now, Adam. Like, forget it. If that was on, I mean, they've tried to cancel Dave Chappelle. We already know this for a plethora of different reasons. But honestly, comedians can't be funny anymore. You can't even, gosh, you guys are like so fringe with talking about the stuff you do apparently in music. I think you're right, Tom, but you know, where do you think we're headed, Adam? Last time you talked about the fact that freedom was the best part of America. I still agree with that. But this is what Tom's saying is right. I feel like a lot of our freedoms have been threatened and are still being threatened.
Well, I mean, the best thing about America is that literally, like Tom's story, anyone could come here and become something, right? Like every day you wake up in this country, you have a chance, you have an opportunity. Period. It doesn't matter where you came from, and that's why everyone from all over the world wants to come here, because there's opportunity. You know, people say there's oppression and there's all this. Go to another country and find out about oppression, because it's not. If you're born in this country, you're already privileged, right? You're already more privileged than the rest of the world. You're born with freedom. But that's that. As far as where do I think is the thing that can destroy this country? It's the same. It's the same. What Tom just said. I mean, it's getting to the point now, and right now we're at the point where just because you think differently, you can't even say it out loud because you're afraid of your community and your kids that got to go to school and be harassed. And if you're not wearing a mask or you don't agree with someone, it's now your thoughts are basically, if you don't agree with somebody, you are problem with this country. You are what's wrong with this country. When really that's just a very small amount of people who are thinking like that. We gave the smallest group, we gave the people with the biggest mouths, the biggest platforms, and they try to suppress everyone else that thinks anything differently. So again, what Tom said, I mean, I don't even have to reiterate anything he said is exactly spot on. I can't even say it better than Tom did. He just said it all articulate and stuff. I'll just butcher it. But that's the worst thing ever, man. It's we can't just have an open dialogue. You should be able to sit two people who are completely different, who don't agree with each other down, have an open dialogue, shake hands, and go do something together. You know what I mean? And those days are over, and they're teaching our children way different things than they used to. And it's like, well, why do you care about what's going on in school? And why do you care? It's not affecting you. Yeah, it's affecting our society. Yeah. And it's getting worse and worse and worse. So yeah, it's kind of scary.
Well,
so yeah, move to Florida.
Yeah, well, come on down to Florida. That's what I'll say. That's what I did. Yeah. I just want to say thank you to both of you guys, because it really is so refreshing to see that there are people out there like you who are, again, putting things that so many of us think into songs and actually talking about them and taking the risk with that, because it's not easy. You know, most of the time you get canceled for stuff like that. Both of you seem uncancelable at this point. So I just want to say,
that's Billboard.
well, that's true. But there are a lot of people out there that support you guys, and try though they might, I feel like you guys are breaking through and you're getting more fans every day. You're catching the attention of more people every day. And you know what? Somebody might listen to some of your songs and say, like, you know what? I agree with this, and I haven't been able to talk about it. And I think it's fantastic. So I have to ask, what's next for you guys? More music videos from the album? Should we get our hopes up for a tour? Are you coming to Florida? What's going on?
Well, first and foremost, like, I think this Friday we're going to release like what I think is probably one of the most important songs on the album. I'm not going to tell you which one yet because it's a surprise. But yeah, one of the most important songs on the album. We're dropping that video on Friday. The digital album drops Thursday at midnight, but technically it drops Friday, the same day as the video. So we got a big day this upcoming Friday with the new video and the new album. After that, like we're riding out the tail end of like an 8-week campaign right now for this project. So I think we're probably both going to take a big and well-deserved breather, and then sort of refocus. And Adam and I have been talking about going on tour. It's an idea that we've been tossing around. So we have no date set in stone or anything like that, but The world has definitely not seen the end of the two of us causing shit.
Even though a lot of people hope so.
Yeah.
They haven't seen the end. No, I love it. Well, I think you guys are awesome. Thank you for coming on the show. Good luck with everything. Obviously, we're all watching, and thanks for coming on The Right View. Keep up the fight. I think it's amazing, and you're inspiring a lot of people out there. So, Tom McDonald, Adam Calhoun, good luck with it all, and thanks for joining us here on The Right View.
Thank you,
Laura.
All right, to everybody at home, thanks as always. We'll see you next time for more of The Right View.